Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to another live stream. What a week it has been. Well, actually, not that great of a week. Well, when I say not that great, I'm talking about news. There wasn't a lot of news, but we still found some stories for you guys today. So we're going to definitely get to those as we move along in today's live stream. We're holy cow, we are getting into the month of December, and we coming up this week, starting on December 13th. I'm going to be live streaming the closes. So every day from the 13th on, right until I think what is it, the 25th, there will be a live stream every single day. Now they're not going to be hour long closes. I don't know how long they're going to be. It really comes down to you guys. If you guys are here and you're all interactive, we'll go longer than I think we're going to go. So that's going to be all fine and dandy. That comes up Wednesday. So Wednesday will be the first one. So we'll start about 10 to 4 Eastern time. So about 10 minutes before the market closes. And I got something. I got something for you guys. We're going to do our own bell. Here it is. We have a bell. So I don't know how we're working that in, but anyway, we got a bell. We're going to use the bell for these market closes. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to look at who the big winners and losers are for each day. And of course, we got free channel memberships to give away. So every single day we'll be giving away a free channel membership. So definitely, definitely be there for sure. Now, before we get into any other thing, I just want to quickly thank everybody who's here. I see a whole bunch of people already in the chat, and we'll get to you guys in 2 seconds. Also want to thank those of you who are watching this on the replay, because you guys make up pretty much about 75% of my overall viewership. So always good to see that. Those of you who are here, though, right now, hit that like button. Turn it a nice bright blue, because that way there, the algorithm knows that you guys are here to enjoy it, and they'll pass it out so other folks can find it and come on over, and maybe, their Sunday afternoon won't be as boring. That's a lot of pressure on me, but hey, we can do it. All right. We got Change to Spare in the house. Good to see you. Enid's in the house saying good afternoon. And I got Richard from Montreal. Hey, Richard. Stan Gray is in wishing everybody a happy Sunday. We got Jay Borg saying hi, everyone. And we have Skiz who's saying be there or be square. Yeah, that's for those closes, of course. Jordan's in the house saying hello, my friends. High tech bell. Yeah, it's like it's I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do after this. Maybe I'll I don't know. It's just a bell. I now have a bell of all things. Wayne says school's in. Yeah, absolutely. Let's all try to learn something today, maybe. Sammer says hello all. Friggins in the house saying afternoon. I was at the Friggins live stream yesterday. Checking it out, listening in. Brian is in the house saying made it. And friggin is like, I was scrolling under live screens. I don't like the sounds. I was scrolling under live streams and you didn't even come up. YouTube is wrecking it for us smaller channels. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes it is that way. So that's one of those things. A lot of people talk about that little notification bell after you subscribe. Sometimes it pays to hit that. That way there you can find it. But here's another thing too. When you go into your YouTube feed, you probably go on the homepage. But sometimes if you're not seeing the people that you're subscribed to and the people you want to see, instead of going on the home, just click on your subscription tab and it will bring everybody up who you're subscribed to. So sometimes that will help you filter out some of the riffraff that YouTube is throwing at you. And whoops, and Change to Spare says it is a good bell. It's a nice bell. See, look, nice little bell. It actually came today. I ordered it because I was like, I need a bell. I need a bell for this thing. Mario's in the house saying good afternoon. All right, and those of you who don't know what the whole channelship membership thing is all about, so a channel membership, it's simply a way that you can support the channel. When you subscribe, it costs about the cost of a cup of coffee a month, so it's not very much, and it does support the channel. Now, there is, oh my God, I got to mention this. there is a new channel membership benefit that just started with the last video. So when I make my video and I upload it, you guys will see it at your regular scheduled time. But as soon as I've uploaded a video, even if I've uploaded it the day before it's due to come out, the channel membership folk, they're going to be able to watch it right away. No delay. They won't have to wait for the regular scheduled time. Of course, this puts pressure on me, right? Because I don't want to drop it like an hour before, because then that's not much of a benefit. So now it's like, so Tuesday's video, I almost have to finish it and get it uploaded on Monday, I think. So that's a new benefit for those folks who are in the channel membership. And we'll talk a little bit more about this as we go through this event, because I'm going to be giving away a lot of free channel memberships this month. So, it's going to be a fantastically fun month. And the freaking says, right. But if I'm subbed with the notification and I click live channels, I have subbed to that our live should pop up, not stuff I'm not subbed to. Yeah. I think that's how it should work. Sometimes it's hard to understand that algorithm. So that's one of the reasons that for you guys as well, over on Facebook, we've got a Mountain Finance channel, and I put the schedule up there. So if you want to know exactly what's coming up, when it's coming up, be sure to head over to Facebook, Mountain Finance. It's a private group. You just have to apply. I'll apply. I'll approve you and all of that, and get you in there, and then you can find out what exactly is going on, which is fantastic. We are in the new year going to also be looking at a Discord. So I'm figuring all of that out. I want to make sure I know exactly what I'm doing over there, because I haven't played a lot with Discord. And once we get that set up, I think we're probably going to have both, because I think there's a lot of people here who are very familiar with Facebook and very comfortable with Facebook. And then there's the other group of people who are like, I hate Facebook. I'd rather be on Discord. So I think we'll have both, and both they'll have similar content, but I find Discord, you can do a lot more with it. So there'll probably be a little bit more over on Discord. But anyway, that's going to be part of the 2024 stuff. So we don't have to worry too much about that right now. Okay. Up next to this week, you'll see the little Blossom symbol. So Blossom is a social media app that is for, investors. Right now, it's Canadian investors, but it is going to be expanding into the US as well. So that's going to be really, really cool. But it is a fantastic place to go and talk to, like-minded people who are doing the exact same things that you guys are doing, the do-it-yourself investing route. So you can see not just myself, people like Brandon Beavis, Canadian in a T-shirt. There's a whole bunch of the big YouTubers in that financial sector that are all over there. And it's a great place you can interact with them. And you'd be surprised how easy it is to get some interacting back. If you do want to go over there, check it out. There is a link down below in the About section. So just go into that, click on that link. And when you get over there, follow me. I will follow you back. And do not be afraid to reach out to me over there at all, because heck, I like to keep the conversation going. So it's a really good place. Anyway, let's get to some news here, because that's one of the things that we have here. I did change up the news thing a little bit on the side. I decided to go with a darker green, more or less because I wanted to have that and the news story that we're about to do, like that, nice and red, kind of a bit more festive for the season. So I don't know. I'll probably change it. I don't know if I'll change it back, or I'll probably figure out a new color scheme for that once we get to January. So our first story is all about CosMc coffee, which explains the thumbnail. Hence, I tried to have a little bit of fun with that. And amazingly enough, I wasn't able to, I wanted to have Ronald McDonald doing it, but the AI basically said, no, we cannot make that image for you because of copyright. But this is what's going on. McDonald's is looking to get into the specialty coffee market, and they have a new restaurant they have a new restaurant concept. They're calling it CosMc. Now, apparently they had a character in the past that was some kind of a space alien-like character that was called CosMc, so that's where they got the name from. But the general idea is they're starting out with a single location this year. I believe it's in Illinois, not that far from Chicago. And then they're looking to expand that up to 10 more within 2024. Now, if these cosmics take off really big, you'll expect to see it, not stay within the US. You'll probably see it come up here to Canada at some point. Now, here are some of the offerings they have. You can get a churro frappe, pear slushies, and this one, I didn't know that people made these, but turmeric spiced lattes. So if you want a turmeric spiced latte, for now, head to Illinois, but otherwise, we'll just have to sort of see how that's all going to roll out. So it does sound interesting. It sounds like they're going to put more of an emphasis on cold drinks because apparently, even in the winter, the cold drinks actually seem to be outselling the hot drinks in a lot of places. So I think that is going to be really, really interesting. Skiz says production quality on the rise. Yeah, we're going to keep on. We're going to keep on doing a whole bunch of things. I'm looking at 2024 as being that year where the channel, breaks out a little bit more, because right now we're kind of a close knit group. I think it's time for us to break out. So we're going to do that in 2024. At least that's the goal, and I'll make it happen. I'll put in the work. We'll get there together. And Lisa's in the house saying hello, everybody. Hello, Lisa. Good to see you. All right. Well, we talked about McDonald's. Let's talk a little bit about the Bank of Canada and some rates. So the Bank of Canada, of course, they did have their rate meeting this week, and they have, as nobody was expecting them to do anything, but they've continued the pause. So this is their third pause in a row. And at this point, October's inflation, it came in at 3.1%. So that's really, really good. And we are moving towards that 2% target. And I think the Bank of Canada is definitely happy with that. Now, they did warn that, they're not saying that there's not going to be any more rate hikes because they're more committed to getting to that target. So we have to kind of see what's going to happen. But at the same time, most economists are thinking there's no way there's going to be another rate hike. And in fact, most economists are leaning towards some rate cuts in 2024. I've heard people say that we could see cuts as soon as, the late spring, early summer. So we'll have to see how that's going to go. I think right now, my best guess is we might see 2 rate cuts in 2024 for a total of 50 basis points. But I've heard economists thinking we're going to see even more than that. So we're going to have to see how that goes. But this is actually pretty good because I will tell you, probably not that long ago, I was thinking we were still going to get another rate hike. So this could be some pretty good news, especially for any of you who do have a mortgage that is up for renewal in 2024 or 2025. Well, 2025 would be even better because then, you'll definitely get the full benefit of that. Now, I do know as well, a lot of people are thinking, and I think I would follow the same suit. If I were going to renew a mortgage around this time, I probably would go with a variable rate because we are looking at rate cuts coming up. So to me, a variable would make a lot more sense. Chad's in the house saying good day all. And we got Bleak in here saying, hey, nice little wave. That's cool. You guys have missed the bell. I have a bell. Oops, there we go. I'm not going to ring it anymore. That's the last time I'm ringing it on this stream. That is for the market market closes that we'll be doing starting on the 13th of December, so Wednesday. So that's going to be, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see. Chad says, all right, average Canadian can't take any more rate hikes or they go bust. Yeah, absolutely. And it's really interesting. We got another story. We got this EQ story. If you can see it over on the side. And that's going to be really interesting. Well, wait till we get there. We'll talk about that when we get there. All right. We have a Mr. Math story. Well, not exactly, but so Mr. Math is sad. And the reason Mr. Math is sad is, the Canadian math scores have been dropping. So the OECD, that's the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, they have some test data that they dropped. And this is basically a study from 2022 going back to 2003. So overall, Canada dropped about 35 points, that's a lot to drop on our math scores. And they're saying that about 22% of students scored below the level of math literacy that is seen as needed to participate in modern society. Now, back in 2003, that number was 10%. So we've more than doubled our illiterate math folk in the country. So that's not too good. Now, keep in mind, out of all of the members of the OECD, we're still overall eighth. So we're still beating a lot of countries. We still have a lot more math literacy than most people. But it is sad to see that people are starting to lose some of their math ability. And I think you guys are not in that boat in any way, shape, or form, for the simple reason that, well, what's going on? We are investors. We look at math all the time. Numbers are part of our world. So, when the teacher used to say, you need to learn this, you're going to use it someday. Well, we all live in that someday. So I think we're definitely better. But there's a lot of people out there that, they can't do basic math at all. I got a cousin who's like that, and it boggles my mind. So anyway, that is our math situation. All right. Amvas says, love your live shows, aiming to self-invest, pre-retire, goal to earn max total returns, regardless of market conditions, safety. Made by VFV and DGRO ETFs and BSR REIT in January 24. Thoughts, please. Thanks. VFV is, I'm a huge fan of Vanguard ETFs. I think Vanguard ETFs are solid and they got a lot of good growth. And here's the funny thing. Your question ties into Tuesday's video that's coming out. I think it was the last live stream, we were talking a little bit about ETFs, and I said, I am overdue for an ETF video. So, and I've got an ETF video coming out for Tuesday. I've basically found 5 of the biggest ETFs of 2023 when it comes to total returns. So you'll have to come in and check that video out, because that definitely has some good ones in there. But of the ones that you've mentioned, I certainly do like these ETFs. I don't think there's any issue there. Now, REITs is another thing I do want to touch on that pretty darn soon, because we're in a situation where if we're at the end of our rate hikes, that to me signifies that a lot of these REITs who have been falling like lead stones, a lot of them are coming to the end of that. We're coming into the bottom on the REITs. So this is not a bad time to start looking at REITs and sort of considering, do I want to get in? Do I want to pick up some RioCan, or in this case, BSR? Because I think these are going to start recovering, especially if we do see rate cuts in 2024. That's going to be really good for the REITs as well. So we're coming in on the bottom of them. So look at them, do your due diligence, of course. Don't just go out and, blindly start loading up on REITs. But I do think that bottom is in, which is fantastic. Jill is in the house, and Jill says, Mr. Math, which is fine. I don't even know, like, here's the funny story about Mr. Math. I don't know. I just one day was doing a video, and I was just like, oh yeah, we're going to call on our good old buddy, Mr. Math. I just did it as kind of I don't know, it was like an off the cuff thing. And I got comments like, I love Mr. Math. And I'm like, okay, well, we gotta turn Mr. Math into a real character on the channel. So yeah, that's where that all came from. Wayne says, students are allowed to bring their calculators into the classroom, according to my daughter, who is a teacher. Yeah. And that's a thing. Well, it depends on I know when I was a student, we weren't allowed calculators pretty much until high school. Once we get to high school, because at that point, the math was getting a lot more complicated, then yes, we definitely needed to have calculators. But yeah, people shouldn't be able to do basic math without calculators. Understand, for example, order of operations and just being able to add fractions, little things like that. I think people definitely need to have that in their tool belt. Right now, apparently not a lot of people do. Skiz says Mr. Math has an origin story. Yeah, absolutely. Uh, who knows? Maybe in 2024 we'll even dive deeper into Mr. Math and see if we can flesh him out a little bit. Ciso says, "Hi everyone, and crypto is pumping hard." Yes, if you guys remember, last week, was it last week or the week before? It was within the last 2 weeks. I had covered something in the crypto rounds that a couple different people were predicting that we were going to break 40K US on Bitcoin in December. And it's happened. It has already happened. So definitely awesome. And of course, look at this. Ciso says, my Solarium is up, or Solana is up 170%. That's fantastic. And this is the way I find that crypto goes is when Bitcoin starts to explode, everybody comes along for the trip. It's like they're all on the same tide. So yeah, now is the time that you're going to make, and the way 2024 is setting itself up, I think there's going to be a lot of people making some good money. And I think this time, I'm hoping, I think this time as we have a new crypto bull market, I think people are going to be a little bit smarter with it and ride it up and maybe start taking a little more profits, because I think a lot of people got burnt with the last one because everybody was so hyped to the point that they were thinking, oh, Bitcoin's going to 100K, but it didn't get there. And then it fell, and it fell big time. Actually, the funny thing is, I don't know if Friggin is still here, but I was on a live stream with Friggin. Back then he was the Friggin Oracle. And we were doing this really late night Friday live stream, and the giant crash happened on the live stream. We were just watching these red candles go absolutely crazy. So that was definitely an interesting live stream, and just the fact that we happened to be there while it was happening and we happened to notice it and could kind of sort of commentate on it as it was happening. That was just cool. Richard, you made over 170,000 on Bitfarm. Okay, interesting. Now, I'll leave that alone for 18,000, not 187. Okay, I was about to say, Richard, wow, I was really impressed. I'm still impressed with 18,000 though. But 187,000, I was just like thinking that you were in a league of your own. Cisco says Dot 2.0 is coming. And yeah, absolutely. I mean, Dot, for me, Polkadot was one of these ones that, because it was creating this interconnectivity between other projects, so that whether you could use it as a bridge, I really felt that was going to be a good, solid crypto. It didn't materialize to the potential that I saw, and I'm surprised. I'm still kind of surprised that it didn't. But yeah, I still think Dot's a good project. Let's see. Dot, I'm getting 11.3% staking on Wealthsimple. Nice. Now, Wealthsimple now, they've come a long way with their crypto holdings. So being able to stake on Wealthsimple is good. And here's one of those things. For those of you who are like, I don't want to get into the whole hardware wallet stuff, and something like Wealthsimple, to me, I would consider them to be one of these people that are probably not going to get hacked. They keep on getting better and better, and I would say that would be, if you're gonna have a online, like a hot wallet, then that would probably be your best place to go, would be Wealthsimple for various crypto projects. If it's just straight Bitcoin, then there's still ShakePay. That's still not a bad service as well. But Wealthsimple is good too. So Just sort of put that out there. Let's see. Skiz says, moral of the story, take many small profits. Yeah, take profits along the way. That's one of those things. It does not hurt to be taking some money off the table. Um, you know, it's just one of those things because here's the thing. No matter how good something is, if you look at the way of the flow of a stock, it goes up and then it corrects, up, correct, up, correct. Um, so sometimes when it's going up and it seems like it's going up, especially if it looks like it's gone up for a while and you're like, this is kind of crazy. It hasn't corrected in a while. That's probably the time to start looking at taking some profits. You don't have to take everything off the table, but take some profits so that way there, if it does reverse on you, you've at least got those profits. But here's that thing. When you're dealing, if you're doing this in your TFSA and you are taking profits, remember the 30-day thing. Because if you buy back the, let's say it corrects and it goes down a little bit and then you go and buy it back in, that looks like day trading. So you don't want to be doing that in your TFSA. So when you're taking those little profits, you got about a 30-day. So remember, you got a 30-day hold on buying that same stock back, even if it does go back down and it's tempting. So you just want to keep that in mind. You don't want to get into trouble with the good old CRA, that's for sure. Let's see. Chad says, all depends on when you get into BTC. If you bought in at the high, then you lost your shirt. Yeah, but if you didn't buy in at the high, then you're still in the green. Absolutely. I mean, anybody who got in like under 20K on the way up, I mean, they're golden. I mean, that's you've more than doubled your money already. So yeah, it really comes down to when you got in. And if you're dollar cost averaging, you should be good. If you've been dollar cost averaging through the whole thing, you should be looking pretty good right now. And depending on what happens in 2024, because 2024, we got a lot of catalysts on the table. We've got the spot ETF in the US that's due to come out. We have the halvening. Between the two of those, if there ever is a real chance of Bitcoin breaking 100K, this would be the perfect storm that could lead to that. I'm not saying it will, but I'm saying the ingredients are there. We just have to see how it comes together, because I could give you the perfect ingredients to somebody who's a moron, and their chocolate cake's not going to be very good. But just keep in mind, the ingredients are there. The players are on the table. We have to see how this is going to roll out. But I'm pretty optimistic, to be honest. Let's see. Looking forward to your ETF. Videos. Will you share which ETFs that you are adding to your portfolio? Appreciate if you also don't mind sharing your REIT that you are adding to. Thanks so much. Well, with that portfolio, I got the series 0 to 100K that I'm working on, and that is a portfolio that I am building up. So it's building up from scratch. Right now, there are no ETFs in it, or there's no REITs in it, but I'm definitely adding a REIT when it comes to the next update. And ETFs will be coming along, so don't worry about that. That's the thing. There's a few ETFs out there that I do really, really love. And when you look at some of these ETFs tomorrow, I have a feeling I have found ETFs for Tuesday. Tomorrow I actually film it and start and do all the editing, and maybe I'll have it uploaded tomorrow night so people who are channel members can watch it then. But yeah, what I'm thinking is that there are ETFs there that you wouldn't think about, that normally are not the ones that are normally in conversation, but yet these ones have been blowing it out of the park in 2023. So, you'll have to check that in. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just, check it out. Chad says, let's see, stocks can issue more shares, Bitcoin only, ever be 21 million. Yeah, that is correct. With Bitcoin, there are only 21 million. And here's the thing, too. There's a lot of them that are lost forever. Like, look at the guy who has all those Bitcoins lost in the dump. He's never getting those back. So that 21 million is even, it's not even that, if you think about it. Sisso says, Candace, this week I took profit of 8.5% of Neptune Digital. It was Ryan's favorite moment. Yeah. Hi, Ryan used to really love Neptune Digital. Interesting enough, Cisco, I don't know why I want to put the K in there, but I don't know. Anyway, interestingly enough, I actually did have a small little swing on Neptune Digital Assets this week. I think I bought in at like 87.5 and uh is it 87 or I don't know what it is anymore. It was whatever it was. But I did make a small swing trade on it. Let's see here, minor. So yeah, and these are things like this, like Neptune Digital Assets, Hut. Those are some good stocks that are very closely tied to the price of Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin goes up, they tend to do really well. Now, Hut had they did a 5-for-1 they did a 5-for-1 split, which was really interesting. So because I was looking at them, they were trading at like $2 or $3 a share or something, and all of a sudden they were up around $15. I was like, what? What's going on with that? But it was it's just one of their reverse, I guess it was a reverse split. So Richard says either it pulls back or goes horizontal. It's up to you if you pull out or not. Yeah, absolutely. Bit miners. There we go. Candace, do we do a challenge 1 to 100,000 for 2024? Well, I do have a challenge. It's already ongoing. So, I started it in, I think it was August. So it is ongoing. I'm adding $500 every month to it. And we're just going to build it up. Now, once we get a little bit further in, we'll start to do I'll start showing you guys different things like how to do horizontal moves and just some little ways of trying to pump up some of the actual stuff going on within that portfolio. So, for example, maybe even a couple swing trades we'll do in there, but we'll do it the right way because we're in a TFSA. We got that 30-day thing, so we'll keep that all in mind. But yeah, there's a lot of different things we're going to do as it gets a little bit bigger. But yeah, $500 a month. We're just going to keep on plugging along. We'll keep that challenge going until we hit the goal. So, if it takes 5 years, it takes 5 years. I don't care. We're going to do it, which would be fantastic because it'd be kind of neat if somebody discovers the channel 5 years from now and they can go back and have, quite literally hundreds of videos that they could just sit back and just watch and then go, okay, let's watch this whole thing progress. Now, of course, if it's like 500 videos or something crazy like that, wouldn't be 500, but probably about 250, 300. You could probably just sort of skim through them pretty fast at that point. So, Trevor's in the house. Hi, y'all. Chad says BTCY treating me well. Yeah. Now, BTCY, they are the purpose high yield Bitcoin. They pay a dividend, and it's a nice little dividend. Now, the only problem is because it is a covered call situation, there is a slight cap on the upside. But here's the thing. You're more than making up for it with that dividend. So I would say go ahead. I don't think it's a big concern. So that is, yeah, definitely good. And I'm probably going to, in the new video coming out for the challenge, I'm probably looking, like I said, I'm looking to add a REIT, and I'm probably looking to add something Bitcoin adjacent. So one of, maybe BTCY, it might be. We'll have to see. So I have to take a look. I might go with BTCY.B, for example. They're not hedged, so that's kind of nice. And Chad says, yeah, monthly dividend too. So, and I heard rumors that they're probably going to be, moving their dividend up a bit too now. So we'll have to see. I don't know if they have actually declared what their dividend is going to be in January, but I heard a rumor that it might be going up. So any of you who can confirm that, definitely do that. All right. Let's zip another news story out of the way. So we got a methane news story. So basically, in a nutshell, Canada is planning to roll out new methane regulations to target methane emissions in the oil and gas sector. So methane, of course, is a greenhouse gas. Now it's about 80 times more warming than CO2. So it's pretty potent. And right now for Canada, about 14% of our total greenhouse emissions came from methane, and that was from 2021. I don't know what it is beyond that. Now, Alberta, of course, is not happy with any of these new regulations, and they feel that it's illegal. So the goals, I think, and I don't know what our total goal is on this regulation. I know it's basically we're looking to minimize, I think, 75% by 2030, and I think 100% by 2070. And here's the thing, when you are, this is kind of what happens right now. A lot of oil companies, when they're drilling, they just sort of burn off the methane. And that, of course, then goes right into the atmosphere. And that's the stuff that they're talking about. Now, you can very easily, you can very easily capture it and do a carbon capture with it as well. So there's ways that you don't have to be doing this. So that's kind of, I think, where the government is going with that. But we'll have to see how that goes. All right. And all right, important year-end dates. This is one I wanted to definitely wanted to hit on as well. Before we hit on those, though, Amvas says, with oil demand seemingly falling and benefiting airlines, would you consider adding airlines to your portfolio? Any particular that you don't mind sharing? Thanks again. So there's always that whole Air Canada thing. Is it time to buy Air Canada? Well, if Air Canada is whenever Air Canada is under $20 a share, I think it's not a bad time to be DCAing. You're going to have to be patient, though. It's going to take, and this is with any airline, I think most airlines are going to take about, 2.5 to 3 years to get back into profitability. So, you have to be, with a buy like this, you just have to be patient. You have to buy it almost and forget about it, and not worry so much about it. So I do think Air Canada is not a bad stock when it comes to that. I mean, a lot of people don't like the company, and I look at it this way. It doesn't matter to me if I like or dislike the company. If they have sound fundamentals and I can see how my money is going to come back and how I'm going to get profits, then I tend to be okay with that company. If Rogers had better fundamentals, and I hate Rogers, I think about actually investing in them. So I kind of keep it that way. All right. So important year-end dates. So first of all, those of you who do tax loss harvesting, and I think I've mentioned this before, never look at the date that you sold the stock, because it doesn't matter. It comes down to when it settles, and it takes 3 business days to settle. So if you were going to do any kind of tax loss harvesting this year, you need to have your sales done by, December 22nd, because there's a lot of holidays and the weekends are not working with you at the end of the year. So December 22nd would be the last day to sell something if you want to harvest that for your tax loss harvesting. Now, with your TFSA, we'll talk a little bit about that. So as you guys know, January 1st, that is when we get our new contribution room. This year, we're getting $7,000. Now, anything you've sold this year out of your TFSA, you're going to get that space back too, in addition to the $7,000. So if you had to take, let's say you took $5,000 out of your TFSA this year for some kind of purchase, that means on January 1st, you get that $5,000 back, as well as the amount that you're getting for the $7,000, that normal amount. If you were looking, like, let's say you were thinking, well, in January, I'm going to have to pull some money out of my TFSA for an expense that is coming up, pull it out now. Don't wait until January, because if you wait until January, let's say you had to pull $10,000 out in January, that $10,000 in space, you're not getting that back until the following January 1st. So that would be January 1st of 2025. So if you need to pull something out of your TFSA very early in the year, it might make sense to pull it out right now. And that way there, you get your contribution room, especially if you're in that situation where you're almost completely full, like you're running out of space. So, a little bit of space management. Now, another thing is your first home savings account. So those of you who are eligible for it, but let's say you're eligible, but you just haven't set it up yet. Well, you want to get it set up before January 1st because you right now you're only getting $8,000 a year until you get to the max of 40,000. So if you don't set it up before January 1st, then you're basically a year behind. So then if you set it up in January, you get 8,000. Whereas if you set it up in December, then January you'll get your second 8,000. You'd have $16,000 worth of room. So you'd be a little one step closer. So definitely something I would recommend. Now, anything like an RESP, so your retired education savings plans, you want to make sure that you have made all of your contributions to that before the end of the year, because where the government matches some of those, if you miss, you've lost free money. So just keep that in mind when it comes to the year end. You want to make sure all of your ducks are in a row, because you don't want to be losing anything this year. All right. Let's see here. All right, Chad says, yes, they burn it, but their carbon capture overdone a few for potash mines and coal burning power plants. Absolutely. And it just really comes down to, I mean, you can't really get rid of everything when it comes to methane, but you can certainly reduce some of it. Alberta currently has already met their quota for reduction for the next 3 years. So that's why they're kind of saying like, hey, we've already hit our quota. Leave us alone. I get that. I get where they're coming from as well. Let's see. OM is in the house. Evening, folks. Awesome. All right. We're almost through the news. This is fantastic. I always like it when we get the news out of the way nice and early. All right, so we have a report from the Canadian universities. Basically, they predict every year, they like to predict what the food inflation is going to be. So in 2024, they're saying that food inflation is going to range from 2.5 to 4.5%, which is a lot better than last year. Now, bakery, meat, and vegetables, those are set to inflate the most. So we're looking at 5 to 7%. And on the bottom end of that scale is dairy and fruit, which is about 1 to 3%. So if you have a family of 4, it is expected to cost $16,297.20 to feed yourselves in 2024, which is actually $701.79 higher than the value for 2023. So it is nice. There's a lot of good things about food right now. One of them is that things are starting to stabilize a little bit, to the point that you're going to start seeing more competition start happening with the grocery stores. So you will have situations where, stores will put something on sale to get you in the door at a loss, which is great for you because that's a good deal. But they're getting you in the door because then you're going to buy probably the rest of your groceries there, and they'll make up their money that way. So just one of those things to keep in mind. All right, we'll just pound out the next story too. So EQ Bank. So EQ Bank, holy banana bread. We currently have a deep dive voting going on the community tab. Right now, I think EQ Bank has a huge lead over everybody else. So that's probably going to be our next deep dive unless things change. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about EQ Bank. Now, they have reported, so EQ Bank came out and reported in regards to mortgages that 80% of their customers have already renewed their mortgages at higher rates. And they said that surprisingly, there's been a lack of issues, and they've had no major uptick in delinquencies. Now, here, I have a theory about this. Most of the people who know about EQ Bank are people who, like us, for example. I think they're a lot more financially savvy, which to me means that these are the people who understand finances, who understand money, and they're probably not the type of people who are in that situation where these higher rates are going to completely torpedo them. But just keep that in mind. So that's going on with EQ Bank. Now, EQ Bank as well, it is a smaller sample size because as of October, they have about 400,000 customers, but that's improving. They had their, in fact, they just had their earnings report come out, and their earnings report was pretty darn good. So I can't wait to do a deep dive on them. I did one before, like a mini one. So this will be the first full one on them, provided they win, and I think they're going to. So I think that's going to be fun. Skiz says, artificial meats and insects are coming. Yeah, absolutely. I've scoffed at artificial meat. I will admit. And then I think Jill ordered some Beyond Meat stuff, and I was like, oh, okay. I tried it. It was better than I anticipated. I will definitely say that. Yeah, actually wasn't bad. So they've come a long way from some of the vegetable patties you used to be able to get, like in the 90s and such. So they're getting there. They're definitely getting there. And bugs, well, Chad, um, bugs are a great source of, I hate to say it, but bugs are a great source of protein. And I don't see, like you can go on Amazon now and you can get like cricket flour. How does it work? I don't know. I'm not going to order any, but it's a thing. There's a lot of, there's a lot of countries around the world where bugs are eaten. That's, that's, it's not something I want to do, but I think if we got used to them, and probably what would happen is bugs would be put into food before we even knew about it. And then it's like one of these kind of like, oh, by the way, you've been eating bugs for years. Kind of that whole Soylent Green revelation type thing. All right, and Zhang says, when house bubble breakup? It's going to be interesting to see how that's going to work. The fact that if we don't have any further rate hikes, and if we have cutting, let's say that cutting does come nice and early in 2024, so in the spring, it could alleviate things a little bit. There's still going to be people that just can't handle it. There are people who, they jumped in on mortgages during the pandemic thinking the rates would be next to nothing for a long time, and they can't afford it. They simply cannot. There will be people like that. There's nothing we can do about it. Yeah, it's still going to be messy. I don't want to sort of sugarcoat it. It will still be messy, but I don't know if I would call it. I don't think it'll get to a 2008 level of messy, because that was just craziness with the housing collapse of 2008. Chad says, easy math. If it don't make sense, it won't make dollars. There we go. That works. Lisa says, what are they putting in these fake meat products? That's what scares me. I do not know. I know in the past they used to put in a lot of soy. There used to be a lot of soy in a lot of these, vegetarian products, and I assume there still is, but I never actually read the label of the, of the meat. Of that fake meat, of some of the fake meat of today. So I don't know. We'll have to see. Let's see. The government wants us all eating bugs while they continue to eat prime rib. Whoa. You're not hiding your dislike for the government with this one, Lisa. I will give you that. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. Yeah, government is government. I just today's just one of these days where I just don't feel like talking about the government. I'm like, but I probably will anyway. Let's see. More chemicals in that fake stuff. No good. Not good for human consumption. Yeah. Your best bet is always natural food. Anything that's natural, less preservatives, anything that has less chemicals, it's going to be better for you. There's no way around it. It, Bulldog. Okay. And 1,000 ingredients. Yeah. It's like It's like our list of ingredients is too long for this label. Go to this website to find out. That would not actually surprise me at all. Lisa says the government are the ones behind the push to eat bugs. Yeah, maybe, maybe. Well, I mean, bugs are technically natural. I would rather, I mean, honestly, I'd rather eat bugs than some kind of weird chemical preservative thing. Um, but that's just me. But oh well. All right, let's get our last story out of the way. The crypto rounds. I don't have a lot for crypto rounds today. I think the big thing I have is that Coinbase is now officially the largest crypto platform in the world. So those of you who follow the shares of Coinbase, so COIN, it's on the it's the U.S. so New York Stock Exchange. They're actually up 324% this year. That's absolutely crazy. That's a really good number if you've been in on Coin. And I think probably some of you might be in on in on the yield max version of Coin as well. Was that Coiny? So yeah, they've been doing really, really good. Interestingly enough, though, they generate about 90% of their revenue from retail transactions because most of crypto I think is still heavily on the retail side. So that's kind of a neat little thing. All right, so what's going on next week? We'll just finish that little part there. So there's not a lot going on in Canada. Canada's got a pretty stable week, but the U.S., we do have on December 12th, so Tuesday, we got CPI coming out. Then on Wednesday, we've got PPI. So we'll get another shot at how inflation is doing in the U.S. So that'll be kind of good. Earnings-wise, the big one for this week coming up is Dollarama. And I think they're going to do pretty good. So that'll be fun to see. Also, Empire, if anybody is into Empire, their earnings as well is coming out as well. Uh-oh. Chad's got some maggot spaghetti. Oh, dear. Yeah, I think my face would be just as green if we did that. So anyway, there we go. I'm just going to... Now it's just you guys and me. We'll just talk about whatever the heck you guys want to talk about. Throw questions in the chat. We'll hit it all up. So, bringing up, I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on the channel next week. So, like I said, on Tuesday, we have a total return ETF, the best of 2023. 2023. It's funny, as I get towards the end of the year, I think I've already called a few things 2024 that were 2023 already. Not so much on the channel, but, just around the house type thing. So we have that coming up. We have the deep dive on Thursday. And that deep dive, like I said, is I'm just going to pull something up here. Right now, yeah, it's really, really, really looking like that is going to be won by EQ Bank. I mean, they've got almost half of the vote. But if you haven't voted yet and you want somebody else on that list, just go vote. And that's always a good idea to vote. Then, of course, on the 13th, that's when the channel membership giveaways and the closes all come. And when the bell comes into play, because I'll ring the bell, of course, for the bell. So we'll be doing that on the 13th, the 14th. So it keeps on just going. So we do have a bunch of stuff happening. Yeah, pretty much every day there's going to be a live stream of one shape or another going all the way through. Now, let's see here. Oh, look at this. And this Thursday, I better get out. Find out what you guys want. The channel members. There's also going to be a channel member live stream as well Thursday night. So yeah, that's going to be fantastic. This is going to be a busy, busy, busy week. So we'll have to see how these closes end up coming up. I've got a few graphics and stuff I can pull up for that. So I think that's going to be really, really good. So yeah, the channel is going to be absolutely popping right up to the 25th with live streams. And then you get a video on the 26th. Holy banana bread. And then, of course, channel members on the 29th of December. That is your that is your request. That is where I will find out what you guys want me to make that last video of the month on. So we'll do that, and we got another. We got a live stream as well on New Year's, so that's going to be kind of fun too. We will be looking at. I have to figure out if I'm doing it on the live stream or how I'm doing it. Probably, I have to look at how I did it last year. I think I did it on a live stream. We'll look at my predictions from last year for this year. We'll see what I got right, what I got wrong. I think I even made a crazy Elon prediction for this year. Who knows? Maybe I got that one right because Elon's been kind of a little bit wonky this year. So we'll have to see how that goes. So that's kind of what we got coming down the thing. I think that's going to be really, really, really interesting. All right. Oh, let's think Telus, Bell, Enbridge, buy now. I think we're in a position. Hi. My watch started talking to me. Yeah, I would say so. I don't think we're going to go much lower on any of these, on any three, like on any of the three. So Telus, Bell, even Rogers. But I would probably see, the thing with Rogers is they have so much debt from taking over Shaw that I would kind of shy away from them for the time being. I would probably ride either Telus or Bell up if you're looking for some diversification in the telecommunications sector. Enbridge, I don't think they're going to go much lower. I think there's going to be more of a painful ride back up. I think that when it comes to the utility sector, I think you're still better off with somebody like Telus, Canadian Utilities, even H, so Hydro One. I mean, I think that you'll make your money back a little faster on those, but Enbridge will get there, and Enbridge will give you some decent dividends while you're waiting for them to get there. So if you're thinking, okay, well, I kind of want the dividends. I don't really care if it takes them, how long it takes. In fact, the longer it takes them, the more I can stack them with higher dividends. Well, then they're probably probably a good company for you in that situation. So I would definitely say yeah to Enbridge. So that's going to be kind of cool. Oh yeah, I'll show you guys something here. Oh, I got a Christmas card from Blossom. So you can sort of see inside. It's just a little something there. What does it say? It says, Candace, glad to have you on the ambassador team. Enjoy the Christmas gift. Brandon. Oh yeah, there was a gift too. Basically a hoodie with Blossom on it. And then on the arm, it has Mountain Finance. It's over there in the closet. So, so I can't pull it out to show you guys, but yeah, it was kind of neat. It was kind of fun. I knew something was coming because, Brandon reached out and said, hey, what's your address? I gave it to him. So that's kind of cool. Let's see. Chad says all three above heavy debt to or self-focus on VDY was what I was thinking. Sold my CU, still hold Hydro One. So you got Hydro One. Good. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be, you have to sort of look at, I guess for me, when it comes to some of the debt that we're into right now, yeah, there is a little bit there. But it really boils down to when you look at the larger fundamental sort of situation. So with Enbridge, for example, I hate their debt, absolutely do. But I also know that they have been, expanding. They have been utilizing it. I don't want to say in a good way. I mean, to me, no debt is really good, but some people use that. Some people will use that debt model. Where I think the issue is I think a lot of companies got into trouble because they weren't expecting rate hikes to go up so fast. And that certainly, all of a sudden when your interest is much higher than you anticipated, that can sometimes throw in a kibosh. Like I think, for example, you take even Rogers and Shaw. I think if Rogers understood that that the interest rates were going to go up as fast as they did, they might have looked at financing the Shaw deal in a slightly different way, or maybe they would have held off. It's hard to say. So it's kind of one of those interesting things. Let's see. Ian says, "Uh-oh, I'm way late. Guess I will check this out when you upload it." Absolutely. Well, it should be live. The second we finish, it should be live. In fact, if you're in YouTube, maybe if I don't know if you're watching this on your phone, but I think the slider will let you just go right back to the beginning. So even though I'm still live, you can still watch from the beginning. And but I mean, if you have questions, though, you probably want to watch, the actual part where we're at right now. David says, "Do you think Manulife will still keep its dividend growth rate at or above 10% in 2024? Its payout ratio is still so low." I think here's the thing about Manulife. Manulife, I think, is in a good position. For one, they're the only, they're only in Canada anyway. They're the only insurance company with access into China. So I do think they have positioned themselves. I think they position themselves well. Here's the thing: can they keep it at or above 10%? I don't know if they will, but I think they have a chance. I think that they could do it if they really wanted to. And as you said, their payout ratio is still low, and I think they have a lot of potential. So I really like out of all of our insurance companies, I think Manulife is my favorite. So um I would say we won't know until they do it or not, but I think that they have the right fundamentals that if they want to do it, they certainly could. Now, Ian may have the different pattern or a different idea because he sold his MFC because he saw a pattern. Yeah, there's nothing. Well, here's the funny thing. MFC used to be. Oh, and there you go. Your same thing. MFC used to be one of these stocks I used to love to do some day trading on because they tended to have a very big consistency with their movement up and down, up and down, up and down, and it used to be quite playable. Occasionally you get stuck in them for a bit because you bought and then it continued to go down, and then you had to wait to get out of it. But yeah, no, I still do like MFC. Now, hopefully, in your situation, Ian, you did it because you saw a pattern that could make you a little bit of money. So I don't know your story behind that, but that's one of those things. All right, so folks, I think we're starting to come up towards the end. So get your last minute questions in if you got them. Keep them coming. If you guys just completely bombard me with questions, that's how we end up getting up to an hour and a half and things like that. Because, heck, if we're booming, I'm not gonna leave. Ciso says Manulife is from my hometown. Nice. Let's see. The 1 year looks like a spike strip. Interesting. I haven't looked at their 1 year recently. I should do that. Let's see. Ciso says London, Ontario, great company. Yeah, good old London. I've never actually been to London, Ontario, which is kind of interesting. I mean, I've actually lived in I lived in Toronto for about 3 years, but I never really made it anywhere because Toronto kind of had everything I needed at the time. So I do want to someday get down to London. I want to visit. There's a lot of Southern Ontario. Like I'd love to go from London, go down all the way down to Windsor. Well, now that I think about it, I've been to Windsor. I probably have been to London, but never because I took a bus once. I took the Greyhound from Ottawa to Montgomery, Alabama. And it actually did go across. It crossed at Windsor, Detroit. So I definitely passed through there. So I don't know. I might have passed through London, but I haven't actually visited London in that sense. So, but no, I definitely would like to. So that's kind of interesting. Let's see. Jackie, I'm listening from London. Oh, nice. How many people do we have here in London right now? Is it just Jackie, or is there a couple of you from London? Let's see. Any hot picks for 2024? That's a good question. So here's the thing. I I think the hot stocks in 2023 right now, I'm still kind of leaning towards them. So I'm still thinking. I'm thinking that I think the Hammond stocks, so HMM.A, HPA dot A, I believe. Um, Also, Stella Jones, so SJ. I think those are three that are going to continue to do well into 2024. And I'm going to start looking as well. I want to, because I'll be making videos early in 2024. I'm going to start looking for, you know, as Vic would say, that next Hammond. Where's the next Hammond? So I'm going to start looking for that and seeing what I can find. I'm pretty darn good with stock screeners. So that's one of those things. And oh, I can visit Jackie. Woohoo! That'd be fantastic. Lisa says, if you come to Windsor, let me know. It's funny. Let me tell you a funny story. All right. So I was pretty darn young at the time. I had been living in Kelowna and I decided I was gonna come back to Ontario, and I did. And I came back. I moved to Hamilton, and I got to Hamilton, and I hated it. I was like, I just don't like this place. Now, mind you, this is when Hamilton was a lot dirtier than it is now. But I was like, I don't know where I want to move to. So I was like, I knew people in Ottawa and I knew people in Windsor. So I said, well, I'm just going to flip a coin. So I flipped a coin and Ottawa won the coin toss. And that's how I ended up in Ottawa for the first time. I moved out of Ottawa and back to Ottawa. But yeah, I have done that. I have actually moved by a coin toss. Oh dear. Skiz says, I took a Greyhound. I'm sorry for that experience. Yeah, absolutely. Well, here's a funny thing, Skiz. Um, in Canada, it's not so bad. I mean, it's a horrible ride. It's a long ride, right? But at least the bus stations are so clean and everything. But after we crossed into the US, I was just like, oh my God. The bus stations were absolute dives. They were filthy. They were just like, it was like something from a zombie movie almost. I was like, yikes. It was like, what happened? Did the apocalypse happen as I was going through customs? But yeah, so that was just one of those things. Homra says, Yeon IonQ on my watch list. Okay. And Sisso says, London, one of the fastest growing cities in Canada. Yeah. Let's see. How about CSW, Corby Wines? Well, add it to one of my posts if you want me to add that to the pool, because I'll throw whatever you guys want on the pool. I'll throw it in. Let's see here. Bring up Jackie. Let's see. Cisco prices have gone nuts in London, but good for my property value. Yeah, absolutely. See, that's the thing. I think London would be a nice little. I mean, because you can probably drive to Toronto in what, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hour to hour and I don't know. I only just got my driver's license, like quite literally this year, so I can look at something and say, "Oh, how long would it take to drive there?" And I'm like, I still have no friggin' clue. So that's just me down the road. All right, guys. All right. So I think we're going to call it here. But before I do, I'm just going to remind you guys, we have so many friggin' live streams coming up, all starting on the 13th. I will start at 3:50 p.m. Eastern every single weekday. I've got everything scheduled. It's all over there on Facebook. So take a look at that. We will be, like I said, I think I said last week, if you're watching me at home, I will be in your home so much in December, you should be charging me rent. That's just the way it is. So, oh, there we go. I was right. 1.5 hours from London to Toronto. Yes. Awesome. All right, everybody. This has been great. I'm so looking forward to talking to you guys all friggin' banana bread week long. So it's going to be awesome. All right, everybody. I will bid you a farewell. Take care, everybody.